morning and welcome to the Business Standard Morning Show. I'm Kanishka Gupta and let's have a look at the stories for the day.
What the world needs now is people who see energy a little bit differently. Because seeing a more sustainable world isn't far in the future. We're building it now. GE, building a world that works.
A cursory glance at any parking lot or a look at any traffic jam is enough to suggest the trend. Muscular SUVs are increasingly overshadowing sedans and hatchbacks, from 18% in 2016 to 48% in 2022. The rise of SUVs in India has been quick and phenomenal, while sedans' market share has touched 10%. So, why have SUVs become the preferred choice for the aspirational Indian middle class? Is it more breathing space, raised ground clearance, and affordable prices? Or is it a global trend? Or all of them? Where is India's SUV market headed from here? And how auto companies are meeting this demand? Let's find out.
Recognizing what appears to be an insatiable demand for sport utility vehicles in India, manufacturers are set to unveil a flock of dozen new models across price ranges in the run-up to the festive season. This includes revamped models like the Maruti Brezza to new launches like French car maker Citroen's C3. Incidentally, Mahindra & Mahindra launched its new Scorpio N yesterday. There were 7 launches in FY22, while the figure was 5 to 6 each in the previous 3 fiscal years. Market leader Maruti Suzuki, which has been caught on the back foot amid changing buyer preferences regarding SUVs, saw its market share slip from 51.22% in FY19 to 43.38% in FY22. To power its way back to 50% share in the domestic passenger vehicle market, it has lined up new SUV launches, including a hybrid SUV jointly developed with Toyota as part of a broader partnership formed between the two Japanese automakers in 2017. Passenger vehicle dispatches rose 13% to 3.07 million units in FY22, recovering to 91% of the FY19 level. But this recovery was completely led by the outsized growth in the sales of utility vehicles, which registered a 40% jump to 1.49 million units, while passenger car sales dipped 4.8% to 1.46 million units. The share of UVs, made up mostly of SUVs, in the overall domestic passenger vehicle market increased to 48.5% the last fiscal, from 15% about 2 decades ago. The rising share of UVs in the Indian PV market mirrors the trend in international markets, while also indicating a clear shift in consumer preferences. SUVs reached a record market share of 45.5% in Europe last year, closing the gap on the 52.3% recorded in the US. Meanwhile, SUV sales accounted for almost 48% of the passenger car market in China. With increasing personal mobility amid safety concerns due to COVID-19, more trips via own vehicles rather than buses have resulted in aspirational buyers opting for a UV as it offers better off-roading capability. A taller driving stance, more upright and commanding road presence, larger tires, flexibility, and maximization of space are some factors that explain the shift to SUVs. The elevated driving position gives better control to the drivers, while the higher ground clearance lets the driver negotiate Indian roads better.
First, we have to think of SUVs as a body style, specifically for the Indian case, because most of the SUVs, they do not have the traditional capabilities of an SUV, right? They just look like an SUV. And the SUV body segment has penetrated all the car segments. Average to poor road conditions is one of the driving factors for users or buyers to go for vehicles which look taller, which appear to have higher ground clearance. And also the aspirational element comes in as well. The SUV styled cars are not really upgrades, but they are presented as such and they are well received. I think the taxation norms play a huge role in what vehicle segment emerges as the largest segment in any market. India has emerged as a small car market because of one specific taxation system, the small car. So we have the SUV body style coming in within that tax bracket.
Given the price overlap between premium hatchbacks, entry-level sedans, and compact or sub 4-meter SUVs, consumer preference has shifted towards SUV-type design as they see better value for money. Compact SUVs are more suitable for Indian road and city conditions. They make parking or making U-turns less of an inconvenience while giving the perception of being a status symbol. The competitive intensity in the compact SUV segment has been increasing over the past few years. GST differential among different subsegments has led to increased model launches and sales of sub 4-meter SUVs. Rating agency CRISIL expects UVs to outperform other segments and log average annual growth of 14 to 18% compared with just 4 to 6% in small cars till FY26. It expects the share of the UV market to increase gradually to 51 to 53% by then.
The cars which are sold as SUVs in India, they drive very car-like, right? That turning radius, their drivability, the ease of drivability, they are at par with normal cars, which are not SUVs. A typical Indian customer is very price sensitive, value sensitive, I would say. Right now, the mindset of most of the customers is that they are more inclined towards the SUV body style. So affordability plus the value it provides, a larger boot, etc., a larger maybe fuel tank, so they can go far. More features, they are loaded with features, right? So those things and the packaging from the OEMs are also getting very interesting.
With SUV body types available at affordable price ranges and the packaging of such cars satisfying consumer preferences, this segment will continue to eat into the market share of sedans and hatchbacks. It will remain the fastest growing PV segment for years to come.
सब अच्छी दिख रही हैं यार, कौन सी खरीदूं?
ये तो वही बात हुई, 4000 शेयर्स लिस्टेड है, कौन सा लूं?
वो तो सबसे आसान है।
तुझे 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर है 4000 स्टॉक्स की रिसर्च, टेक्निकल टूल्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Did you know that India got its first car, the humble Maruti 800, in 1983? The same year, Kapil Dev lifted the maiden Cricket World Cup trophy. Recently, legendary cricketer Chris Srikanth described winning the World Cup as Independence Day for cricket in India, which he said has changed the face of Indian cricket forever. Now, 2022 might have given Indian advertising its own 1983 moment, with the country's agencies having their best outing ever at the week-long Cannes EdFest 2022. So how this milestone was achieved? Let's find out.
It is considered the biggest celebration of creativity in communications and allied fields. According to its website, Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity has been championing creative excellence since 1954 with the goal of providing a global destination and the definitive benchmark for creativity. And this year, India stole the show with good ideas and some bright flashes of creativity. Indian ad agencies scooped up a record haul of awards. 47 trophies, including 5 Grand Prix. And for the first time, the coveted Agency of the Year award also went to an Indian firm, Bengaluru-based Dentsu Creative. An ad campaign, which gave a virtual tour of the British Museum's treasure troves, was at the heart of India's historic haul at the just concluded Oscars of Advertising. The campaign, conceived by Dentsu Creative India, married technology with creativity, the two critical elements that experts say, have worked like a charm for winners from the country this year. The campaign, titled The Unfiltered History Tour, alone won 12 awards, including 3 Grand Prix, a titanium lion, a gold, 4 silvers and 3 bronze lions. Dentsu Creative India's History Tour Creative for Vice Media is one of 16 domestic campaigns that won significant awards this year. Among the other big winners were FCB India, Ogilvy, VMLY&R, McCann, BBDO, DDB Mudra, Leo Burnett and Byju's. So, at the festival in France, which attracts the best of advertising, Indian ad agencies won 47 trophies, including 5 Grand Prix, 2 Titanium Lions, 8 Gold, 18 Silver and 14 Bronze Lions. The previous best run for Indian agencies at Cannes was in 2017, when they took home 40 awards. That tally included 1 Grand Prix. Among the Indian agencies, Dentsu Creative won a total of 12 awards, including 3 Grand Prix. FCB India won a total of 14 awards. VMLY&R won 7, including 1 Grand Prix. Leo Burnett India, which won a total of 2 awards, bagged the last Grand Prix. The Chatpat campaign, which focused on a 10-year-old social media influencer, was a significant contributor to FCB's tally. His street smart videos on Life were aimed at building awareness and raising funds for vulnerable children and families. Ogilvy India, which won 6 medals at Cannes, used artificial intelligence to create hyper-personalized spots for local businesses in around 260 pin codes for Mondelez India's Not Just a Cadbury ad campaign featuring actor Shah Rukh Khan in 2020. In 2021, Ogilvy went a step ahead and gave local retailers the chance to create their own version of these spots for their stores using AI technology again. Josie Paul, Chairman and Chief Creative Officer, BBDO India, said that while some agencies used technology well in their campaigns, others were noted for the radical solutions they offered. Paul added that 2022 was the 1983 of the Indian advertising industry, as it won the Advertising World Cup for the first time.
For many years, clients have asked whether we are ready with our ability to handle digital as a medium. And what has happened this time at Cannes is that all of the wins, including the Unfiltered campaign of Dentsu and the Shah Rukh campaign by Ogilvy, have used and utilized technology to a reasonable extent. So that at least fundamentally puts to rest this whole discussion about whether we are ready to combine creative with technology, because you don't win at a platform like Cannes if you don't fully understand the medium. So the fact that as a medium, digital allows you that flexibility means that agencies have to be ready for that kind of competition. It can come from a single individual, it can come from a small boutique, it can come from, a large number of these very small mom and pop, digital agencies. But that is the emerging reality. And I think the advertising business has no choice but to kind of figure out that competition today can come from fairly unexpected quarters.
While 2022 has become a milestone for them, agencies are now competing with an army of influencers who understand the power of viral content. According to one industry veteran, 2 years of COVID-19 have disrupted the advertising industry. The ad agency is no longer the kernel of creative talent. Thus, the combination of technology and creativity has to be clever to stand out from the clutter. Digital, being a far more complex medium than film, with multiple platforms and technologies, presents a learning curve for Indian agencies. Will the wins this year at Cannes give Indian ad agencies a leg up in the contested space they will soon be operating in?
यार
मत पूछ यार,
फिर से स्टॉक्स में फंस गया।
तो स्टॉक्स के साथ बॉन्ड्स, इंश्योरेंस, गोल्ड में बैलेंस कर।
इसमें बहुत तामझाम है।
तुझे 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा है ऑल इन वन अकाउंट। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है। Investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Unlike the auto and advertisement segments, India's stock market is passing through rough weather. So, will the uncertainty in the secondary markets and rising interest rates impact the fundraising plans of India Inc.? Here is a quick check on what analysts believe.
The uncertainty in the secondary markets and rising interest rates are likely to cast a shadow on the primary market activity, as India Inc. is likely to either delay listing or alter its fundraising plans, believe analysts. Financial year 2020-21 was one of the best years for the primary markets. According to Prime Database, 52 Indian corporates raised 1.11 trillion rupees via the initial public offer or IPO route alone. For FY23, it had pegged this fundraise at a massive 1.4 trillion rupees, including the LIC IPO. A total of 54 companies, Prime Database said, at the start of this fiscal held SEBI approval for the fundraise. Another 43 companies, it said, were looking to raise about 81,000 crore rupees, where SEBI approval was still awaited. Unless absolutely necessary, Rahul Arora, Chief Executive Officer for Institutional Equities at Nirmal Bang, said promoters will defer their fundraising requirements as debt is getting more expensive and their equity will not fetch companies the price it would have 6 months ago. Investors too have suffered. The stock of Life Insurance Corporation of India, the biggest IPO in Indian history that garnered over 20,000 crore rupees from the primary market, is also languishing, down around 28% till date since its listing in April 2022. In the past 6 months, the S&P BSE Sensex and Nifty 50 have lost around 7% each on weak global cues. G. Chokalingam of Economics Research too expects the primary market to remain under pressure.
Yes, certainly. If you look at the history of last 40 years, the primary market always dependent on secondary market for its own success. So whenever secondary market failed miserably or corrected substantially like this, the primary market also suffered a lot. So therefore, answer is yes, the pain will be there at least for 2 months or 2 quarters in the primary market.
On Tuesday, the markets are likely to remain range-bound, with stock-specific action likely to continue.
तुम इतना डर गए? अब क्या किया?
शेयर्स में ट्रेडिंग।
तुम्हें 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
ओए, अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर मिलते हैं रिसर्च टूल्स, पोर्टफोलियो एनालिटिक्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज भी। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
After the markets, let us move on to the world of data. A top Google executive recently said that frequent and large-scale sharing of citizen data, even if it is anonymized, can compromise users' privacy. It came against the backdrop of the release of a draft data policy by the government, which talks about sharing of anonymized data. So, what exactly is anonymized data and why has it triggered debate? Our next episode explains. Anonymization of data is a technique where personally identifiable information is removed or encrypted and the data cannot be associated with any one individual. So, the data is stripped of personal identifiers like social security numbers. It helps in protecting user privacy and avoiding the risk of compromising confidential and individual information. Data anonymization helps in evaluation and analysis of large sets of data without compromising on the individual privacy. For instance, anonymized data helps in analyzing the direction and health of the economy by tracking high-frequency indicators like mobility, power generation, employment, among others. The draft policy proposes the launch of a non-personal data-based India Data Sets program and addresses the methods and rules to ensure that non-personal and anonymized data from both government and private entities are safely accessible by the research and innovation ecosystem. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology came out with a new draft framework for governance of citizen data last month. It proposed ways to ensure that non-personal and anonymized data sets from both government as well as private entities were safely accessible by the research and innovative ecosystem. It also proposed to build and grow such data sets to enable artificial intelligence and data-led startup ecosystems. Just days after the government released its draft, Google's Chief Privacy Officer, Keith Enright, cautioned that frequent and large-scale sharing of citizen data, even if it is anonymized, can damage users' privacy, pointing to research that shows data sets lose their anonymity if shared constantly over time. He appealed to the policymakers and companies to be extremely circumspect while proceeding in that direction. Enright also said that giving users control over their data and a sense of safety on the internet was vital. And for this, he said, Google recently offered the auto-delete feature, which gives users the ability to delete certain data from their account.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.
Google's Enright also cautioned on localization of data. He said law enforcement, taxation, or the economies have not benefited with it in the last 10 years. That is all for today. We will be back with more news and analysis on our next episode. Stay tuned and thank you for watching. If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.